Hello everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome back to episode 59 of the Contest Realm podcast. If you don't know already, we're available on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify and iTunes normally at 10 a.m. PST time on a Sunday, so make sure to put it in your diary and be around. Make sure to follow and like on the various different platforms, and as well make sure to keep up to date with what is posted by Dan at www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog, and as well following down at frontlinemcoc on Twitter, as well as myself at Mr. RichTheMan. Dan, welcome to a new week. Welcome back. We're refreshed.
We're back, Rich, and wow, a lot has happened since the last time we spoke.
My word. Yeah, I've gone a little bit of a holiday, you've done your thing, but MCOC has kind of like had a whole plethora of things, from the Deadpool spring cleaning. We've had 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, MROC, but mainly MCOC is popping off again. We've had a bit of a quiet.
Yeah, there was a lot of hype for Deadpool's spring cleaning. Did you spring for any of the minty doubloons?
I decided to go for I had £100 kind of like sitting there, and I was thinking, like, what do I do with this? Am I going to put it into the game? I was either going to pull the trigger on July 4th deal, or get something with it. And I thought, right, well, let's start off my journey on the tier 3 alpha, tier 6 basic line. Yeah.
So you went for the big boy items.
I did indeed.
Wow. Putting that down payment on that rank 4 6-star.
Yeah, I kind of put it down to playing the long game with it, as opposed to being like, in some ways it's like, well, is it really worth it? Because like I don't know how far I'm going to get. But the more that I kind of look at this as being, well, we got Act 7.2 round the corner. We've got, and I'm hoping that the rewards and that do reflect that kind of like that nature of that chunk of tier 3 alpha and tier 6 basic. God, I'm trying to like think of like how I'm going to be like referencing all this, because you know what's going to happen, Dan. We're going to be talking about the next thing, which is not going to be like tier 5 class catalyst fragment crystal. It will be something like tier 6 class catalyst fragment crystal down the line, and I'm going to be going like, oh, why can't these things be named normally?
Yeah, well, at least we're moving away from RNG being in the end game item.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So you went for the big items. Is there who would be your first rank 4? If you had the materials today, who would go to rank 4?
That is such a tough one. I feel like I would be torn between doing Cosmic Ghost Rider or Ghost, because my Ghost is awakened. But the thing is, I'm actually really interested by the Mr. Fantastic buff that's coming in. That just gives him more of a front end of damage potential. And when I was looking at the numbers, the way that even the Caban put in the spotlights, that there was going to be, I think it was off the SP3, you'd have a plus 600. No, is it plus? Yeah, I think it's plus 600 attack rating increase. But the 6-star, because it's based on a 565. But if it's a 6-star, the 6 stars already has 500, and that's my rank 2 Mr. Fantastic. So I don't know if the numbers off of the back of a rank 3 6-star will make me go, interesting. Maybe I do him.
Yeah, how's that going to scale?
Exactly. It's
that could be, and he's such a good synergy champion too.
He is, and that's the thing.
He helps a lot of people.
I've not been using that much of an offensive champion. I've been using him as a support champion. Not saying there's anything wrong with him, because he's got decent stuff in his kit, but it's just I haven't felt that amount of damage interest that he could do. So I am interested to do that when it comes to the buff. Did you get anything from the minted doubloons?
I did. Kind of like you, I kind of had a little saved up. The deals were better than I expected them to be, so I did end up spending $50.
Yeah.
And I went all in on the 6-star shards. So I bought 10 of bundle 1 and 10 of bundle 3, and that ended up being 40,000 6-star shards.
Nice.
Which netted me a 6-star ghost a
Oh.
6-star Omega Red, and a
Oh.
First Awakening on 6-star Apocalypse.
I hate you.
So I had a
Like,
good day.
I can't get that
very
kind
good
of
day.
I can't get that kind of stuff out of crystals, Dan. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's
I
happening
had
with
I
you
had
are, but-
Janik bless the opening because he is the luckiest man I know in MCOC. I was like, Janik, please bless my opening. And now I know what it's like to be him for a day, and that is the life. My
Yeah.
goodness.
I
So
can't-
yeah, I mean that was an account changing opening.
Yeah.
I mean the Ghost, that's great. Omega Red, yeah, I gotta awaken him, but you gotta pull him before you can awaken him. And that Apocalypse is so huge, helps my prestige. I mean, he's a beast. Just no complaints for my Deadpool spring cleaning results at all. Very, very happy.
Yeah. I hope that I've kind of like done well to kind of like invest early into the materials for the rank 4. I'm kind of looking at this kind of. I've got a big opening coming up very, very soon. I've got a 6-star opening that as soon as I've 100% Act 6.3, which I'm hoping if I get the time, although I've just realised because I've taken a good chunk of this week off to like spend time with them and as well just like come back from like vacation and stuff. It has meant like I'm a bit behind, but I want to open at least 6 to 7 6-star crystals next week or the week after. I gotta be honest, I think it's more going to be pushing towards the end of the month or kind of close to after I've done my initial run through of Act 7.2 is figuring out what champions would be good for it and then kind of like taking it from there. So I want to do that. I want to hope that this is the time that I'm able to get some like good champions at 6-star, grow them, create, because I've got, I think it was like last time I checked like 3. I could do 3 rank 3 6-stars. So that's something to kind of like for me to bear in mind.
Yeah.
Like, when I do that opening, like, is this going to be, again, as you said, is this going to be roster defining type stuff? Yes, I could
That's
do
exciting.
1 science, 1 mutant, 1 mystic, and 1 skill to all through into rank 3. And I've got, I think the equivalent to what, like 2. I'll have 2 25% tier 5 class catalyst fragment crystals, and then various 10% and 5%. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, another one gets formed, and it could be something again that kind of sees me through to doing 6.4 100%, and as well do 7.2 100% within a short space of time. So it's all it's all about playing the long game, unfortunately. But at least I don't have to wait long. Like, it's a month-long game for me.
Yeah, for sure. And if you make that initial run through Act 7.2, you have to assume you're going to add up some nice 6-star shards.
Yeah.
During that run, if they're anything like what we saw with 7.1. But but before we get into the release notes, we did have the champion poll for upcoming buffs. So we know that Ant-Man and Guillotine are moving on to that special arena to see who receives the buff. Who did you vote for?
Ant-Man.
You did. So
yeah.
you're on Team Ghost. That's what that is.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. A lot of people still kind of said to me, "Oh, we don't need Ghost to part of the synergy." That's not the point. The point was the point from that. The point I tried to make with who I was voting for is that it's all about team creation. Like if you kind of go right, well, I'm going to take on a team, Ant-Man, because there's a synergy there. Okay, cool. But if we got Ant-Man, Wasp, Ghost, and Hood, you've got a good covering there of 3 different types of classes.
Yeah.
You've got a nullifier or something that can deal with buffs. You've got champion that can deal with debuffs, as in debuffs coming incoming and kind of like phasing them and whatnot. And yeah, you've got like 2 science options there that can like help out. So having Ant-Man as being that strong, usable champion in that synergy creation is just a case of going like, okay, so there's the team, Ant-Man, Wasp, Hood, and Ghost, and you can then float in another champion into that could be the ultimate 5 team. You slap in a mutant in there as well, but at least to say that you've got this kind of this strong team that's synergized and it's just kicking so
works
well.
together, covers a lot of bases. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, for sure.
That's what I was thinking. Guillotine, I think it was like I think that it's it was a fair thing to say. Like, look, you know, why not? It's a Kabam original champion. Is it synergy dependent? Yes, to get the extent of current meta out of that champion. So that was kind of the secondary one that I was going for, and I think that was a surprise because nearly 10,000 people ended up turning up for the vote, and that got a sizable amount on the voting system.
Yeah, it shows you something that one of their original characters would do so well in the voting. That's nice, and honestly, I think Guillotine's probably the best of those 6 right now.
Yeah,
on her own to use offensively. I love just the way that she plays and that sword, and she, you know, feels like she's got this like awesome she's just awesome to intercept with. For some reason I find her with that big sword, it just makes it a lot easier to intercept. So I will probably be I'll probably be voting for her with my arena ballots, but I imagine that Mr. Lang will run away with this one.
Yeah.
So my boy Joe Fixit, not a strong performance for Joe. Very disappointed.
Yeah.
That's who I voted for. I've been hoping for a Joe Fixit buff, but you know, he's not even in the 5-star basic pool, so not a bunch of people have him.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like
they're not invested in him.
Has he been thrusted into this? I know he's in the 6-star.
Yeah, he's not in the 5-star though.
And that's the thing, isn't it? But I think about what is readily available, and maybe that's the reason that particular champion hasn't seen much of a interest, is because, well, not many people have him at, say, the current meta of champion rarity. Because, like, let's face it, like, like most of us got 4-star versions. Like, okay, 4-star Joe Fixit, but I ain't gonna use a 4-star Joe Fixit anywhere. And have you got a 6-star version?
No, I'd love a 6-star version, but I haven't got one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, if it's not readily available, then people aren't going to really.
I mean, you need the investment, right? Like, you talk about Ant-Man, like you've got MCU, you've got Paul Rudd. You've got best synergy team in the game. Like there's a lot to go on there, and I think Guillotine is, people are invested in her story. She's available at all the different rarities. She's good enough now that you would use her, and it actually feels like fun. It's not like an Iron Patriot where you're just totally gonna shelf her. Like there's a bunch of people that have Guillotine ranked up. She's got some cool utility. So I can see why people voted for her, because it's like, okay, what if she goes from like a B- to an A-?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that the two that led the way were kind of the ones that stood out in my eyes, and I am glad that they are into the final running of things. God, we've got to move on and talk about next month or the next update, because like. A
lot going on. A big update.
I don't know where to begin with this, because it's.
Well, let's start with the champions, because I feel like they're always the highlights. We're getting Shang-Chi coming out before his movie.
Yeah.
Skill champ, very cool. And then Mr. Negative. I don't know about the pairing of these two. I always knew Mr. Negative as a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
But he's a science champion. Dark Force powers. His origin is tied to that of Cloak and Dagger, which is interesting. Looks like two pretty cool champions from the video. People seem hyped about him, which is good. A good change from what we've recently been seeing.
Yeah, I'm still very much on the fence about the way that the kind of the uniform and outfit of Shang-Chi. And I didn't know where they were going to go with this, whether or not they go movie version, the very respectable kind of, I don't know, it's not like a Chinese style blazer, or kind of Oriental style blazer.
He's not really wearing like what you would consider a superhero costume in the trailer, right?
Yeah, because there's like a point where he's got the motif that kind of comes in a low kind of like V in with kind of like a black lace type like V, or kind of to a point with a nice kind of like Oriental style like jacket type thing. But then with this comic book version, which I was kind of looking to see, like where they've gone for a very modern take. This was I believe 2020 design for the comic book when I had a look earlier today.
Interesting.
I'm a bit unsure as to like the reason as to do it. Maybe this is a lot of the time I think, and what I didn't consider for like when I was doing the recordings is maybe this might have been a popular look in somewhere like China, because a lot of the times I suppose that if Marvel are to create something for a Chinese market, then how the character looks has to be important for what is going to sell copies, and maybe this was indeed the look. I preferred the all-in red with the black that the character had in some of the very earlier comic books. Well, not very early, but the more kind of modernized comic book look. So I'm still kind of on the fence with this in appearance, but I guess for me it's just down to animations look brilliant. Abilities, that's something to be behold. I think Monday we'll be talking about them abilities and the spotlights. We haven't been cleared to talk about them, I don't think.
No, not yet.
No, it's Monday, right? So yeah, more on that then. But when the motion comic released, there was something like these little like orange type either buffs or powers in the top right hand corner. So that would be something to kind of find out what that's all about.
Yeah, looking cool.
Yeah, the
and then Mr. Negative's kind of a Mr. Negative is kind of like this science champion. I imagine he'll be debuff heavy because he's science, but at least in the comics, like Mr. Negative is all about like corrupting you and like and like in one of the comics I just read, like he takes Spider-Man and he takes all the good out of him and turns him into a rage monster. But then on the flip side of that, like he gets in a fight with the Hood. Yeah. And he tries to use his powers on the Hood, and it doesn't work because the Hood is so completely evil that he can't turn the Hood good because he's like there's no goodness in you. Like it's like the Hood and in the comics the Hood and Mr. Negative get in a turf war because the Hood's trying to take over Chinatown and force Mr. Negative to join his gang of supervillains, and Mr. Negative's like, I'm not going to do that, so they throw down. Wow. But it was very interesting. Yeah. So, and it seems like the side quest might hint at that because it says that Kingpin and Hood are not happy with Mr. Negative.
That's a very good tie into detail there of that. So that's the Tournament of the 10 Rings.
Yeah, side quest.
Yeah. Looks like it's a bit weekly. It comes out weekly.
I haven't gone through the whole post. It seems like kind of like you get your ring, which unlocks a quest.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit Mutant Treasure Island-ish, where you don't know what's on the path. Is that where we're going with this?
That's kind of... I mean, from what I read, was the... so I'll just get the side quest info up. Yeah, so that they're saying that it's complete solo objectives, reach arena milestones, earn keys, unlock quest paths, and earn rewards. Which, it's very much like that. Whether or not it's like... I don't know if it's like similar to this month's one. It just depends like how this comes across. And this is, I think as I always say, it's always best that when we see this on Wednesday, we then go, it's like this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
FYI, I'm still getting emails about content that I've kind of like talked about with this month's side quest. I got an email, I think it was yesterday, saying, has this been talked about the feedback, about the fact that when you repeat the current side event that you don't see any rewards? I'm like, dude, I put out a video 3 weeks ago on this. And I hope this is not the case for I think we're both kind of like fingers crossed with like Wednesday, and when this drops, please no problems.
Yeah, please, like let's have a clean start to the month, right? And the patch.
Yeah.
We could really use that. So all right, so this has got, I'm seeing now chapters unlock once a week, so that'll be You'll be answering that question all month long.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say this is chapter 4.
Is there anything really juicy in the rewards?
I don't think the way it's been like the problem is I think the CCP copy that we get isn't exactly displayed in the best. Well, saying that, looking at the actual way the version of the forums kind of like displayed, it's a bit kind of like I'm not going to say it's higgledy-piggledy, but is this all over the place? It kind of feels like it is, because a lot of the times they can just amalgamate it into like one separate thing, rather than going like, okay, well, if you go to quest 1, it's this, quest 2, it's that, chapter 1, this. It's kind of like, I understand it personally, but I can see this being like very just it's smushed in a way that I personally do not like. But that's nothing to say that it's ridiculously bad. It's just like the way it's like you have to something about the so the chests on the paths, I'm assuming, give you some of the substantial rewards, like 6-star shards, tier 2 alpha in say chapter 2. But so you get them from the chests as opposed to anything. The completion is, we know you complete, but then they put something called mastery. So I guess that ties into what the quest is, but then you're like, using the terminology mastery, does that mean the 100% of it, or does it mean something in particular that's different to it? So I guess that's really the issue that I'm having looking at this. It's just the way that it's put together can be seen as quite confusing to players.
Yeah, I gotta do my full breakdown. I am a little bit behind. Usually the weekend before the side quest actually opens up, that's when I have to like sit down and like dissect this post and try to try to translate it and make sure that I'm on top of it. But yeah, there's quite a bit here, and the rewards grid is a little bit confusing at just first pass. So I gotta go through this because you got 4 different difficulties, 3 chapters. Okay, I gotta take a look at this. But 6-star shards, a couple of 2%ers on the T5CC. So nothing crazy. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything crazy.
Yeah, okay. Just reading a few responses about stuff. Someone saying no awakening. Well, I don't think Kabam sometimes they do and don't do awakening gems, and I mean need to I like somebody just put like something about Diablo. It's kind of weird because Diablo Immortal is about to release is in alpha at the moment, saying, these side quest pots sponsored by Diablo. I think I mentioned that in a video, so they would just remind me of stuff like Diablo Immortal and stuff. But side event looks busy. We've got some like end game. Somebody's actually, I've just seen a summarization by somebody with the rewards, kind of breaking them down a little bit. That's clearer. So somebody called Bauer69 has done like a summary of the rewards and how they break down. Just gonna go like, okay, well, legendary sees 18, 20. Is that 20? Yes. So I'm assuming you can go into all of the different difficulties, and if that's the case, then you would get 270,000 tier 2 alpha fragments. No, that's wrong. That's 27,000. God, it'd be nice if it was that. 27,000. Tier 5 basics will be fully formed, because apparently you can do epic and legendary, which is nice. The 5 tier 5 class catalyst fragment crystals at 2%. And then things like legendary crystals. 6-star shards will total 8,500 because you can do epic and legendary. Good. So that's nice. And again, assume that's like how it's read. But you have to do epic and legendary to get a 5-star hand-to-hand. You get one fully formed if you do legendary, but you can get the shards from doing epic to get one fully formed of a 5-star hand-to-hand crystal. Or no, sorry, the shards which convert into the cavalier. See, I'm learning. I'm trying to learn myself about this stuff at the same time.
On the fly.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to I think for me, I'm gonna do some further videos, which I'll probably put out sometime next week. Oh, and breathe. Okay.
Ooh, Aegon's in that special crystal.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. Aegon in there, that gives value to players and interest. So yeah, that's great. Also from this month, we've had something for endgame players. We've had people that want a challenge.
Yeah, a couple of things. Important. I mean, I think we've got 7.2, which I don't think the end gamers are expecting to be that much of a challenge, but it's something to do, which is good. I very much enjoyed 7.1.
Yeah,
I'm looking toward 7.2. Looks like basically the same setup. They've got that boss island, so that's actually kind of nice. Is you can choose which boss you want to go to, no matter which way you go. But Karina's challenge. So these are Thronebreaker permanent solo objectives. And we can't reveal what they are right now, but they're going to be hard.
Yeah, they will properly train you, that you'll have to like properly prepare. This is like, imagine the amount of times that Metal Sonic Dude goes in to do 6.2.6, the champion fight. And like the amount of like repeating that, but then kind of doing like, this is done itemless, or this is done this way, or say it's like so for example, if you would take a 4-star, like the 4-star challenge, into doing something like that, or something ridiculous. Now I'm not 100% sure on any of the objectives, I can't actually remember, but like imagine the situation like that, like it's a proper challenge. They'll make up something that will properly challenge you.
Yeah. I mean, it's saying complete existing content with specific champions and rarities. So you would imagine that they're not going to let you take the easy route with any of this stuff.
Oh, God, no. So that's good. That will allow people to get that kind of like challenge arc to what they're doing. So, good luck to everybody with that. We've also seen some buffs that I as we said, like Mr. Fantastic interests me. I haven't done a video on Vulture, but I think for me I'm more interested in covering Mr. Fantastic and Black Panther. Black Panther Classic because that he's had more of a extensive overhaul, and that's it's a very impressive kind of like change, especially with like adding in things like the cruelty build. So you kind of feel like if this champion is building massive amount of cruelty, then you're going to see some big yellow numbers. That's what I think I want to see. Dodge,
dip, dive, duck, and bleed.
Yep.
Someone watch Dodgeball. Yeah, he's the only one of these 4 that I have as 6-star, so definitely has piqued my interest.
Yeah, I think I've only got the 5s. Have I only got the 5s?
Lots of bleeds. As someone who runs 5 out of 5 deep wounds, this is what I'm looking for.
Is this going to be something that you might consider to take to rank 3 as a 6-star down the line?
Maybe. Definitely looks like there's some rank 2 potential. Rank 3, we'd have to see. I don't know how his new prestige lines up. 13, 5, 10. So that's not crazy.
Yeah.
Prestige, that might be the thing. I'd have to dupe him. I don't think I could take him unduped for prestige reasons right now.
Yeah. Because that's the problem with the investment side of things. That's one of the critical elements to what you're doing at the moment. Also, as well, I think it's like the investment of going, okay, well, me and you are both at the same stage where investing in a champion is going to be quite important to the extent of what we're doing at this time. And that's like, if for me, going, right, well, the current meta is feeling like we're doing this shift. Like, I do have value with 565s, but I think that after this month and maybe going into next month, the month of June, I need to start thinking of 6-star rank 3s and who is next, why are they next, and getting the last little bits of 6.4. Like I should be, what I'm hoping by the end of next month to be working on, or maybe kind of like started mid-June, is that I'm working towards at 6.4 100%, and also thinking about going back into Abyss for the last few paths and any other kind of content that Caban may be throwing our way, and just kind of hopefully just rounding off a lot of the kind of Act 6-y, Abyssy type content before kind of like maybe taking a chill before doing anything else. But that's the thing of going, right, I have to make investments into my roster. Who is a good candidate to be ranked 3'd, or am I kind of waiting for what's happening with rank 4 6-stars?
Yeah, no, I totally feel you. I mean, I still think 5 stars are totally viable to actually do the fights, but as far as being competitive and with your roster, prestige, if you care about AQ is huge. If you care about Alliance War, you gotta. That's where you really need those rank 3 and eventually rank 4 attackers, because as soon as people can, put a rank 4 Apocalypse on defense and do it.
Yeah.
That's terrifying to think about.
People do be doing those things, which is not.
See, people do be doing those things, but yeah, it looks like a very comprehensive update. A lot of content, a little bit of something for everything, something for everybody. Something for the end gamers, or even if you just started in the game and you download it for the first time tomorrow, you're still getting a 3-star Shang-Chi, which will probably help you out a lot. So, I'm pretty happy with this update. They're keeping, they're keeping the content coming at us, which is good. Yeah,
I don't think if there's anything that really kind of like stands out in my eyes from this new update. I don't think we've got. There is the Abyss of Legends Havoc. Changes to plasma detonation, which was
he was bugged.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I should have gone in and done that lane. That's annoying, but
I think there's going to be a lot of people doing that lane this weekend.
Yeah, I don't have the time to do it, unfortunately. I'd love to say I'd be able to do it, but I just don't have the time to do it just yet. But I do kind of feel like, right, well, lost opportunity. Don't know, because like. You can't say, can I drop everything to do a path of Abyss? No. Do I have the opportunity to do 4 fights in 6.3.6 to finish off 6.3? Yes, I do. And I can then do arena grinding at the same time, so I can then grab additional units by doing that, and kind of feeling like I'm preparing what I'm going to be doing next week, because that's going to be the next thing. Is going like, okay, well, what content am I making next week? Because next week will be start of a big push for me to kind of like get a lot of content done, a lot of guides kind of prepared and stuff, because it's as well, it's a busy old time for Realm, because Realm's going to go into the 3.0, and that's going to mean that people can go and hopefully grab themselves a Thor. But we're not going to talk about that just yet, because we're going to be now talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier episodes 5 to 6, so the kind of finale, which is something that I do want to talk about with Dan, because what a final 2 episodes.
Yeah, just wow! What a way to cap off this series. I think my big takeaway is like, I just really enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah,
and I'm just really happy with where we ended up and how things turned out. There was a lot of powerful moments in this series, particularly in the last 2 episodes. I just think from the writers to the, people behind the camera and the actors, like everyone just hit it out of the park with this one, and definitely left us wanting more, whether it's Captain America 4 or a second season. But getting into it, I think what shocked me so much about episode 5 is, their episode 5 picks up right where episode 4 left off. I did not think we were going to get that immediate
fight scene,
confrontation.
Oh gosh.
And that was more brutal than I expected from this isn't the Punisher.
Exactly.
Like I know Marvel can go there at times, but I did not expect like we're gonna be like ripping off the Falcon's wings and breaking John Walker's arm.
Yeah.
Like wow, like that was a brutal fight scene.
Yeah, I think first of all, like kicking off, I thought, oh right, okay, so they're in there to do something. Is John Walker there to stand down? It's just like, nah, we're gonna have a full blown fight of things. It's nice to see Bucky and Sam kind of like team up and kind of like take on someone that is kind of like doesn't know where their headspace is. It's kind of weird because I felt very, and you know, as we're kind of talking about, I felt very different about, and I've like positive and negative towards John Walker between episode 5 and say the endpoint of episode 6. I was actually left more confused about, okay, so I like US Agent now, I like John Walker now, but I don't like him. Will I not like him?
Walker's yeah. He's a complex character.
Yeah, because
they did a really good job with that, making him complex, because he's kind of an a-hole.
Yeah.
You know, but he's not a villain. He's not a bad guy. He's got a code that you may not always like. And he's complex. And you know what's interesting is that scene in episode 5, like after they take the shield from him and he has to go back and he's stripped of the title of Captain America. Well, wasn't that a lot of what we were talking about in the last episode? Like, who put him in that position? You know, exactly. His whole you made me this. I just did what you told me to do. That whole thing.
Yeah, that for me is another mystery as to, like, again, why is he? I understand, like, he explains the reasons that he was chosen because he is the model of a perfect soldier, but he's a bully. But it's like, well, what and who appointed him to be that person to be Captain America for that brief time that he was? Did Madame Hydra, as we kind of like learn, does she have some meddling in with the US government to make that appointment? Does she see something or has seen something prior to that she was worming her way to get him into that position of power to begin with, before then kind of following this scheme of things to go, hey, US agent, we want you to be doing stuff for us. The secret Hydra that they try to get rid of first, then did it a second time, then they haven't really done it. Hydra always exists. So you just don't know what is going on. I have no idea how I feel about Sharon Carter now.
Yeah, is she a double agent? Is she a triple agent? Yeah. Has she turned rogue? Like, what's Sharon's deal? You know, like, clearly she was working an angle and kind of knew a little bit too much about the power broker stuff. But yeah, I mean, she got some real questions about Sharon, which, you know, should make for a great season 2 or future to this story in whatever form it takes. So yeah, Sharon, a lot of complex characters, right? Like, yeah, we got Sharon's complex. Like, I know everyone seems to, you know, enjoy Zemo, but he's a complex character. I mean, he takes out from jail. Apparently, he's still able to kill all the Flag Smashers at the end of the episode. At the end of episode 6.
Yeah, that butler puts in work.
That butler does. Yeah, that is a loyal butler. Yep. And I mean, what else? I mean, I think we got some really powerful performances from Carl Lumbly, who plays Isaiah Bradley in both episodes 5 and 6.
That story arc throughout the entirety about righting wrongs is probably one of the best. It's kind of weird because it's not really the kind of main part of the story. Well, it is and it isn't, because it's like it's talking about the idea of like acceptance and like how the first idea of a black Captain America would not be accepted in that time, and how it comes back to now where it should be normality. But the way that his story, I think episode 5 was probably one of the most powerful in the case of like setting precedents and understanding the weight and say the way it would be viewed was just fantastic.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that's so great about the storytelling in a TV show that comes out every week versus a movie. Because maybe if this was a 2-hour movie, we only get 10 minutes with Isaiah and it's one scene. Maybe it's just that, the Bucky, I need you to meet this guy scene.
Yeah.
Where, we can, with these episodes, it's like, okay, like we can think about each of these scenes and they can be spread out and we can see some of an arc here and they can meet multiple times because you can fit it into a 6-hour TV show. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was great. And then, we're jumping all over the place, but I think we're kind of going character by character here. At the end, seeing Isaiah having representation in the Captain America museum. I don't know if you've seen like the close-ups of what's actually on the monument, and it talks about how those soldiers were experimented on against their will.
Yeah.
So it's all about the story being told, which I think that was a huge part of that, right? Like, Sam and Isaiah and their kind of conflict was about like, because Sam wants to tell Isaiah's story. You get that, and as Isaiah is like, I won't last 24 hours if you bring me out. Like his whole thing, like I have to stay hidden. So, Sam, I think, I watched so many reaction videos and like everyone's just like so happy that that's what Sam did and found a way to tell his story. Just some powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, that they told that story.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think what else. We kind of got that pause between 5 and 6 where Sam and Bucky kind of go home, regroup.
Yeah.
We see Sam's extended family. There's the whole thing with the boat, like Bucky showing up at the, I guess it's not really a cookout, but like the fix the boat party.
Yeah.
It's some good, kind of like let's pause. We've had some heavy moments. Let's have a little fun here. And then we get to the end of episode 5. Of course, we get the post-credit scene, with Walker making the shield. And my last note from episode 5, what's in the box? And then we find out in episode 6, where, of course, the Wakandan Captain America suit for Sam. Just episode 1 and episode 6 had these amazing aerial battles for Sam. Just movie quality battles, which were awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad they
just a big moment.
I'm glad they incorporated, like I say, the learning of the training.
Oh, the montage.
With
that was, if you've seen Team America World Police, that was the montage.
Yeah,
that's all I can think of. Is like everyone needs a montage.
And it's just the training, the understanding of utilization of the shield itself. So that's kind of like what like key thing. I would say like I was kind of like a bit disappointed with the finishing of the Flag Smashers but I guess the story being told about the way that their finish is that Sam Wilson is telling the story of why the Flag Smashers needed to exist, what they were trying to achieve, and why the governments of the I can't remember, was it the GRC or the GRS or GR?
Yeah, Global Repatriation Council.
There, GRC. We're not kind of like acting.
We're not listening.
Yeah.
We're not acting responsibly, because that's the thing, right? Like Sam agrees with the issues that the Flag Smashers raise. He disagrees with their process.
Yeah.
And you kind of see the process, particularly from Carly, falling apart in a couple of key moments. One where, she's talking about basically it's okay if they die, the movement will live on, and you can see the skepticism from her followers.
Yeah.
But the big moment where it falls apart is actually between her and John Walker. Yeah. Right? Where she says, I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not trying to kill people who don't matter.
Yeah.
And, that's that moment where it all turns, right? And you start to feel sympathy for Walker, because Lamar clearly mattered a lot to him. That was his best friend. And, that shows the weakness in Carly's thinking, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's about, like, oh, well, just one of the little people or whatever. It's like, well, everybody's important to someone. and she missed that. And we're again jumping around and talking about Walker just because he's so interesting. Is I read a lot. It's like, oh, John Walker's been redeemed. It's like, I don't think John Walker's been redeemed. I just think he made a couple of good choices in episode 6 where he made really, really bad choices in the previous episodes. Like not going for revenge and saving people in episode 6. He made the right call. That doesn't wipe away his sins and make him a good dude. It just shows, like, okay, the capability's there for him to make the right call. And, I mean, I don't think the sort of the nod that Sam gave him was like an all is forgiven. It was more just like, hey, you showed up and you made the right choice. Like, that's what that was to me. That wasn't a, all is forgiven, you're great. Because, it seems like where they're going with him is like, he's going to be the guy that kind of does some stuff that you don't want Captain America to be seen doing.
Yeah, so maybe he'll kill people as opposed to like what Captain America wouldn't do. It's like he would try to reason, and if there's no reason, then there's a fight. But
right,
he wouldn't try to kill unless there's an alien. Unless you're an alien, then that's trying to kill.
Yeah, one of the big three. You're in trouble.
Exactly. Yeah. Damn wizards.
Those wizards. That's right. Oh my goodness. So yeah, just crazy episode. Some great reveals. Some great battles. We get that Captain America and the Winter Soldier credit turn at the end. And unlike WandaVision, a clear path to a season 2.
Yeah.
If that's the way they choose to go. I feel like they've got a lot more story to tell.
Yeah, I know they've announced Captain America 4, but then it's like, well, the question is, like, does this start a new path of a sequel? And will this be a case of going like, right, so this will be Sam Wilson's journey as Captain America, which I think would be great, but where does Bucky turn into that one? Or would they kind of go, which I'm thinking would be good, and maybe they would do, where they do a Sam Wilson Captain America trilogy. Whether or not Bucky would have any kind of involvement with that, or be would actually kind of come into it, possibly. But then maybe the series 2, which would be set maybe many years down the line, would be potentially Bucky taking up the mantle of Captain America for a time. For whatever reason, maybe Sam Wilson doesn't want to do it anymore. Maybe he's getting old. Maybe he wants to retire. That may be something down the line. And maybe they'll explore reasons of Steve Rogers, where Steve Rogers been. Would he feature? Would he not feature? There's all stuff yet to know. Yeah,
I mean, they've got such interesting characters that they built Sam up as Captain America. We've seen a fully deprogrammed Bucky that's getting his humanity back, taking the steps to do that. We've got an incredibly interesting villain in Zemo hanging out there. We have a lot of loose ends with Sharon, and we've got John Walker hanging out there as the wild card. Like, there's a lot to work with. There's a lot more story to tell. Mackie's been playing it very coy about Captain America 4, saying like Marvel hasn't told me anything, but they've hired, apparently they've hired the same person who wrote Falcon and Winter Soldier to write Captain America 4. So I have a hard time believing you hired the same person for the TV show to do the movie, and it's not going to feature most of the same characters.
Yeah. I think as well, like, we're still yet to find out, is it Torres that's now got the Falcon suit?
I think that, I don't know. Has he actually got it in the MCU?
He'll have the.
I think that's a comics thing. Like, I think that's. I don't know if they've gone there yet in the TV show. I don't. Well, he did. He gave him the scraps, right?
He said, like,
he just left them.
Yeah. So, like, will he?
Oh yes. So they are leaving that open. Yeah.
So what if it's now Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or maybe the second series could be that Falcon, whilst Sam Wilson becomes the like movie, like an MCU trilogy. That'll be interesting.
There's a few cool ways they could do with that. Yeah, I guess there was so much going on. I forgot. It's like, oh, maybe that's how they're setting this up, because they're always trying to set stuff up. But yeah, so we got a little bit of an MCU break for the next month until Loki drops in June, right?
I cannot wait for that. I think that's going to be
that's going to be so good. And once again, we're jumping around in styles, right? Like we go from the incredibly modern issues of today of Falcon and Winter Soldier to, hey, let's hop between realities with the ultimate trickster.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Because if there's too much chaos in the multiverse, let's let Loki solve it. What could possibly go wrong, right, Owen Wilson? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well, and so we'll I guess we'll temper the MCU talk unless they start dropping some crazy trailers or teasers or announcements until we actually get to Loki episodes, and after that we'll have Black Widow and Shang-Chi and a whole bunch more to talk about, and it'll be awesome. But get back to games. Big week for Realm coming up.
Yeah, this one will either be the make or break. Gotta be honest,
it feels that way.
I'm not overly impressed by a lot of the stuff that I've been reading. A lot of it for me seems to be very much tailored to one specific type of person in the game. There's some good solo stuff which I am interested in. There's some other stuff with gear changes which I understand Kabam's reasons for doing it, but I don't see the overall applications to other areas of the game, in particular matchmaking. I'll kind of try and go a bit further into that. So the way that they decided to change the gearing, apply some extra stuff to the gearing system, is that with gear there's levels, so you can level up gear as you progress through getting different battle rating. But they don't give an indication like, well, are there any applications to that from the point of matchmaking? Like saying, okay, well, from an algorithmic point, we grab player A, B, and C who are at this kind of level, gear level, and we try and match them fairly to somebody else. So therefore, you've got more of an accurate, pinpoint, and fairer matchup that they could have, which could work to a degree, but wouldn't maybe consider things like synergies that could be incredibly more powerful. But still, it's one of these things of going, that's one of the key things I had an issue with, of why this isn't like pinpoint for matchmaking. So that's my first thing. The second thing is that this new competitive mode they put in, which I understand the reasons for putting it, but it's not going to be tailored for anyone else apart from the top 250, maybe 300 players that are vying for those positions. So having a season-based thing, which I get, I just feel lacks anything from a point of benefiting other players. Is there anything that is for the majority of players to come in and go, okay, well, the season is something like a season pass in some games, saying like, okay, well, if you do X amount of grinds, you get this, similar to like objectives and whatever that they do have in game. But I just feel this doesn't cover everybody, but this is just more for the competitive players of the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you compared it to a game like Pokemon Go, which I play, like you can battle in Pokemon Go, but there's all these different like leagues and arenas. So it's like, if you want to enter a very challenging league, you can do that. Or if you want to enter leagues with, say, like PI caps, you could do that as well. Yeah. And so it opens it up for everyone. Now, it could be that they're just testing this out with, the real hardcores, and eventually they'll filter it down into different tiers. But yeah, I mean, this is for the true end gamers.
This kind of like
of Realm.
If I was to do a contest comparison, it's like saying Alliance Wars seasons, but only those in Master, Platinum 1 and Platinum 2 can be players that get any benefit from this.
Yeah, it's like if the regular season was just like just like that, a regular season, then you put the top teams in the World Cup.
Yeah.
and you did like a little round robin in a tournament, which I think actually those players would really enjoy. You know, but yeah, I mean, clearly that's not some, 250 people is not a lot of people.
Exactly.
Like I mean, if there's 20 alliances and masters, that's 600 people right there. So not a ton of people. Like you said, not a big impact. I think the solo game mode has the potential to impact a lot more people.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that can be a solid gateway into the game for people that don't want to go through matchmaking. They just want to learn the game in sort of a low risk, low stress situation where you're not worried about letting other humans down while you learn characters or want to experiment. I think that's something that's been lacking, and of all the tweets I've sent out about Realm in the past week, that's probably the one that got the most like, oh, like that might be something that I need to check out. So I'm hopeful for that. Did you get the survey about the gear, like the gear customization?
I've seen something. I haven't yet responded to it yet. What is it all about?
Well, it's basically about like how important is it for you to get your character to look like how you want it to look, and are you willing to say sacrifice the power of your weapon to have your character look the way you want it to look? And like, would you spend units to make your character look the way you want it to look? Would you spend real money? Would you spend, it was like, how much per month would you spend on customization? There were some questions like that. How easy is it to customize now? Like, would you rather buy whole sets or individual pieces? All that kind of stuff.
That's kind of weird because it feels like they want to do a lot of things that, say, first-person shooters are doing, where it's kind of like you get skins. Yeah,
it does sound like that. And it was like, what about like limited time offers where like this costume's only available for like a certain deal or a certain piece of content? So it's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, we've still talked about this idea of like there's not anything like a monthly card or even like a season pass. Like, imagine if like the season pass was something like you get a movie version of some previously released like character, like or like MCU character or something, because like Kabam can do that. So like the idea of like creating Stormbreaker Thor, which a lot of players want for MCOC, but imagine if that was something of an option where you just like your season pass is like you spend $4.99 a month, $4.99 a month, and you get a a skin of some kind. Or a couple of skins, 3 skins, 5 skins, whatever. I guess like on
Rich,
the value.
you still there?
Hi. Hello.
Nope.
Can you hear me?
Hey, all right, you're back. I can hear you.
I dropped out. Yeah. So the idea of like a monthly thing, like $4.99, because we said about this, the value of like what is a monthly thing, and like spending $4.99 a month to kind of pick up something, which could be a skin, or it could be some units as well, and just something just seems like a value of interest, like Contest has with the sigil, and as well that the daily card for units.
Yeah, I think it's some of the Realm things, like if you're just swapping in to use whatever is your most powerful piece of gear, like you end up with spare parts Iron Man, and it doesn't look that good. Like, I think there's some champions, like I think the Black Panthers and the Hulks and the Spider-Mans, like even if you're choosing from different sets, it kind of goes better together. But it's like, I think with Iron Man and Storm in particular, like you really want like one cohesive look.
Yeah.
Because they do have some really cool looks, but like with Storm, for example, it's like, she's got black gear, she's got blue gear, she's got white gear. Like it doesn't look great when you mix and match it. It just clashes.
No, not at all.
So I'd like to see some ability to, I think they've talked about transmog and, some ability to just like, okay, like let's find a way to like save some gear sets, or like, I think they talked about that a little bit in the survey too. It's like maybe you could have like presets, like costume A, costume B, and you could swap between them.
Yeah.
And I would like that.
I'd like that as well.
Maybe I want to be Winter Soldier one day, and then like regular cap the next. I don't know.
Yeah, so. I agree. Right, I think that's a good point to end on. Dan, what are you up to next week?
I still gotta finish Cavalier and maybe Uncollected. I'm so behind. I really gotta push to get that done, and probably spend about 20 different keys in the side quest so I get my T5CC. It's been an insane month personally for me with work. So I'm definitely behind. Got to get the side quest post done. And normal update week stuff, keeping my ears open for the bugs.
Yeah.
Try to keep everyone in the loop and from hopefully not getting hurt by these bugs that tend to pop up on patch week.
Absolutely. And I don't know where to start with what I've got to do. I've got to do a follow-up video, part 2 to my collection of rewards from the side event to see if it was actually worth it in the end. Right the way through to how to make the jump from Uncollected to Cavalier. So it gives practical advice for making those kind of jumps. I've got to finish off 6.3, plan out my final bits of 6.2, and if I get time, plan out some 6.4, but I don't think I'm going to have time because 7.2 will be around the corner. Side event grind guides, monthly event quest guides, you name it, an updated Cavalier cheat sheet 4.0. It is what it is. But yeah, that's
it is what it is.
Good luck, everybody. Keep strong. We'll see you next week, hopefully, for another podcast episode, which should be episode 60, if I've done my calculations right. Make sure to follow Dan in the links in the description, myself as well, and see you later on. Bye-bye.